Okay. Sashi
Pugi Jushing Metok Jam Rira Lingshin Yende Gempadi Sangye Shingdu Mikte Uwargi Jokun Namda Shingla Druparsho Idam Guru Radna Mandala Kam Niryatayami
Sangye
Chudam Soki Chognam La Jamchu Bardu Dagni Kyapsuchi Dagi Chunyen Gipe Sunam Ki Drola Benchir Sangye Druparsho
Sangye
Chudam Sogi Chognam La Jamchu Bardu Dagni Kyapsuchi Dagi Chunyen Gipe Sunam Ki Drola Benchir Sangye Druparsho
Sangye
Chudam Sogi Chognam La Jamchu Bardu Dagni Kyapsuchi Dagi Chunyen Gipe Sunam Ki Drola Benchir Sangye Druparsho.
I just want to review what we did last time because it's so complex. And, you know, you gotta slow down when it's deep. You slow down. When it's easy, you speed up. Like Adam's text, we're just going through it because it's just pancakes. At this point, it's just pancakes. Later, when it gets tough, we slow down. Right? But I have a feeling this is someplace where we should slow down. Just for my own peace of mind, also.
Okay.
So we think, you know, what do you call it? Conditionally? Provisionally. We think this means, no problem. He says no problem. No, we say no problem.
He's being sarcastic.
Well, let's go here. Somebody said, Detana, therefore, okay, given that, der Zinnam, in the mind at that point, meaning...
in the direct perception of
during the direct perception. there is a subject aspect. Okay, and I can't think of it. You could say coloration of the mind or something like that, but it's a difficult word. It comes in the tsumdenga. What are tsumdenga?
The
five relationships.
The 5 ways in which the mental functions are related to the mind at any given time. Like when you have anger towards your husband, you're having an argument. So there's a perception of your husband, just perception of husband, and linked with it, there's a feeling about the husband. You see what I mean? So two mental functions are going on. One is, you can say, attention. Just attention, no good or bad. And that's required to have anger. You see, otherwise you would be alone in your room and you would be angry at something. So I'm not saying it's happening. I'm just saying this is an example that we use in DCI about the second husband and emptiness. We use it in the Ukraine. We spent a whole day on emptiness. They didn't understand anything. The second morning we did the 2 husbands. Were you there? I don't remember.
No.
And they were like, okay, now we understand. It was it was the largest audience ever for a one-day retreat in Europe. And then the second day they were all noticeably relieved because we just talked about husbands. So anyway, so Detana der Zinnam Yopagete. Okay, so they were originally saying that during the direct perception of emptiness there is no state of mind. The subject state of mind is cancelled. And you're just like pouring water into water. You are one with the object, and there's no more awareness at all. actually there's no awareness of me.
Right.
And there's no awareness of the event.
Uh-huh.
As a separate thing. But there's still awareness of emptiness. Okay. So now somebody is saying, okay, well, there is an awareness. Okay.
Right.
There is a subject state of mind, which here is called
Zinnam.
holder coloration.
Holder color.
Okay, or holder aspect. Okay.
Should I?
I'm sorry, Tsingdenga. So when you're upset at your husband, there has to be part of your mind which is aware of the husband, and then there's part of your mind which is upset, and they have to be linked in 5 ways. They are called den.
By the basis.
They're both relying on the eye consciousness.
Right.
They're both using the window of the eye to do their thing. Okay, so they are linked. We call linked, or they are equal in that respect. Their duration is the same. They both start and stop at the same time. They're
The substance.
what they're made of is
Yeah,
mental stuff.
mental
They're
stuff.
both. Their substance is the same. What's another one?
Their aspect.
Well, I want to do aspect last.
Oh, gotcha. Nampa. Then the other one is. Remember ACR course 2?
I don't remember. Anyway, aspect is the 5th one, which means the general coloration of the mind. The image appearing in the mind is the same. Oh, object is the same.
Oh, okay.
Okay, mikpa.
What are the two things here?
On the mind. Oh, in this case, the subject state of mind and.
Jinnam and Sumnam.
Oh, and the object.
Zinnam.
And the famous example is the 2 vines in the Vajrayogini sadhana.
Right.
Sumdan Zinnam. You throw them off.
Grasping in what it grasps.
Geshe-la, so since we translate Yul and Yulchen as subject and object, or Mikpa as object, and we're translating a lot of words the same way, do you have a suggestion of how to translate Zinnam and Singnam?
Well, it's something like holder and held.
Okay.
What's it in the Vajrayogini sadhana?
Grasping in what grasps.
Question, what's
What
grasp?
it grasps.
Oh, that's
Grasping at what it grasps.
cool. What
But
it grasps.
that's in a bad connotation.
Yeah,
But
but
this is not.
okay.
This is just holder and
What is held?
holder and held. Subject
Holder
and
and held is cool.
That's all.
Uh-huh.
What is held is more clear.
Uh-huh.
Holder and what is held
Uh-huh.
by the mind. In Latin, cepto, what is held. It's the same in Latin. To perceive, hold, grasp. Okay, concepto, concept. Anyway,
Oh, wow.
Vedana. So there must be a holder aspect, because lo ke langne, we have accepted a mind. Okay. But he didn't say but or anything. Okay. He just said
From having.
once you accept mind, having accepted mind,
Yeah.
we are saying it is devoid, wemba.
Uh-huh.
And the famous example is Wensapa, who's a lama whose name came to be the guy who stayed out in the middle of nowhere. So Wemba normally means like buoy or something.
Yeah.
It means out in the sticks. But as philosophy, it means devoid of. So it is devoid of all held or object aspect.
Right.
Okay. So if you're saying that we're talking about mind, then we're talking about something which is zinnam and not sunnam.
Something that is a holder and not what is held.
Yeah, the aspect is of being the subject and not of being the object.
For sure.
Then we say, no problem, kin mete, tuchuki nambe wemba yinki. Okay, either it's us being sarcastic or it's him being dumb. We have to sit on it for a while. I think we just have to sit on it for a while. There's no help. You're not going to get help anywhere. Unless we proposed, put all of Gyaltsab J's books in a folder and search them for this conversation. And maybe had this conversation in a different place.
Or possibly looking at other commentaries of the 60 verses?
You can try. But he's going off somewhere that I don't think anyone else is going off.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you look at the outline,
Yeah.
he's spending an inordinate amount of time on this subject.
Yeah.
He's not going to do it later.
Yeah.
This is his own. I think it's his own diversion.
Yeah.
So you're more likely to find it in his discussions of some other book.
Okay. He's got a bone to pick.
That's the only thing I could think of. I was so frustrated. I went and outlined the whole text to see if it would help. And from that you detected that he's spending too much time here, as we are. He's not moving. He's not hasn't mentioned the root text for a long time.
Yeah. Well, we're like a quarter of the way through, and we're like on the third of 60 verses.
Yeah. So he's got an issue on his mind from some debate he had with some Sakya 2 months ago, and he's trying to insert it in here.
But this is common. We're all tired of hearing people say your mind disappears in the direct perception.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
it's cool.
So the last thing this person said, whoever's talking, is Chuniki number deni der gapo mijao. It may be. Now my idea is it may be that there's no Chuki number wemba. There isn't any aspect or coloration of things depending on other things. For example, can you have a Zinnam without a Sinnam?
No.
Well, theoretically...
Can you have a subject without an object?
No, I mean...
No, because in a way the subject rests on the object.
Yeah.
In the way that the coffee cup rests on the table.
Yeah.
Red and the perception of red. You got to have a red if you're going to have a perception of red.
Yeah.
You must have a Sinnam to have a Zinnam.
Yeah.
And then I think we're being sarcastic and say, okay, so there's no, since you can have one without the other, whether you're saying, you started out by saying there was no cup, but there was a table. Now you're saying there's a table but no cup. Okay. Yeah, okay, so let's say,
that is
let's say one of them is gone. Okay, you decide which. Then let's say there's no need for the subject and the object to be related, for example. Okay. But why does that prevent someone from thinking anyone has a nature of its own?
Right.
How does that help us to see emptiness? I think we're talking and saying, what's the point?
Right.
If the only thing happening in the direct perception of empty is that your mind is turned off or that there's no possible object,
Right.
how does that help you understand emptiness? Okay.
Or how is that the path of seeing? Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I take Chunyi here to be a false, true nature of things. Okay. Okay. How does that prevent it? It doesn't. And then he goes to a later verse in Nagarjuna's text, and it's supposed to support his line of thinking. Okay. So if we can't understand his line of thinking, maybe we can understand later verse and then come back and understand his line of thinking. Because according to him, a later verse in the same text supports his thought. Okay, so we have to really understand that later verse. And sometimes you just give up on the section you're in and you go to the next section and see if you can make sense of it. And if you do, you take that back to the section before and it helps you, So we're going to try to go to that verse later on in the text and see if it gives us any kind of help. Unfortunately, it's equally difficult. Okay.
It's more difficult.
Maybe it's more difficult.
Yeah, I think
we
I'm
went
clear
and
on
got
that part.
Nagarjuna's verse, and then we went and got Gyaltsab J's commentary on it. Okay, and he's not there yet, and he won't be there for about a year. But we're going to struggle with it, okay? Now, first step is to make sure you understand all the words in the verse, even if you don't understand what they mean.
That's Gyaltsab
Together.
in general, yeah.
So here's Nagarjuna. Jungwa Che, the great elements, which we've established here later, he only relates it to the 4. Sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's 6. Sachu Melu. Earth, water, fire, wind. Okay. Which is kind of equal to gravitation, electricity. They are
fundamental forces.
They are fundamental forces.
That's pretty cool.
They're not some kind of stupid people who think there's little pieces of dirt in every atom or something like that.
Right.
It's more sophisticated than that.
Mm-hmm.
It really is Newtonian forces.
Mm-hmm.
And the people who understand Abhidharma understand that.
Cool.
Okay, so Junwache, the great elements, Mahabhuta, etc., Shepa, spoken, explained.
Mm-hmm.
Number Shesu, as being consciousness, or into consciousness. Yanda Du, that's the Du we had a discussion all this morning for like 10 minutes.
Okay.
Which means,
Present tense.
Yeah.
Combine.
give me
Yeah.
the full form.
Do's.
Do J?
Due to convening of causes.
Alright, I'll kiss you. Gyudan Kendine.
Q
Chepe
Dan
Che.
Do Ne.
Gyudan Kendine. Chepe Che.
Kyo.
A thing which was created by the convening of its causes and conditions. Okay, so here's convening. Okay, it is included into consciousness. It is subsumed by consciousness. Okay, maybe it's the great elements that were explained, etc., that were spoken about. The great elements, etc., that were spoken about, it possibly says, are included perfectly into consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Deshe Benin Gyana, if you understand, okay, by understanding that, you lose them. You are separated from them.
You lose them, or
They are lost.
okay.
If you understand that, they are lost.
Understand that they are lost.
No, not that they are lost.
Oh,
If you understand, then they are lost.
okay.
What it is, we don't know yet.
They.
Yeah, we don't know yet.
Amen.
We're not sure yet.
Now, Mayanam is a rhetorical question, sarcastic question.
Wouldn't
Isn't
that-
it the case?
Yeah.
Isn't it the case
Mm-hmm.
that
Isn't
you are looking at things in the wrong way? Namtat.
Mm-hmm.
BRT, meaning examining
Mm-hmm.
or analyzing things in the wrong way. Okay, absolutely no sense. Okay.
Nagarjuna, thank you.
Now here's the commentary, and I've underlined the root text.
Thank you.
Okay. Gyui Su. This is clear. The first part, the first line. Okay. the
Grasping at straws.
the great elements and the etc.
Uh-huh.
are clear. That's the only part that's clear. Great elements means Gyui Suk.
Uh-huh.
You can say underlying matter, underlying physical form. Okay.
Uh-huh.
According to Buddhism, there's two layers of physicality. One is underlying everything, Newtonian forces,
Uh-huh.
and then when they interact, they create
Matter and energy.
tangibles, tastes, smells. Okay. Okay. So this is okay for underlying physical forces. Okay, the great elements. Okay, and there are supposed to be 11 resulting
Right.
products of those forces, which are physical, like hardness, coldness. Hunger is one of them. Don't go there. Well, so La Sopa. So the etc. in the root text,
Covers those.
the great elements, etc.
Uh-huh.
He only mentioned the underlying forces,
Okay.
and the etc. is the products of the underlying forces.
Yeah.
He says,
Should. Yeah.
Gyaltsab J says it's the 11. I went and got the 11 for you.
Gracias.
It's not the 11 types of tangibles.
Oh, that's
Okay,
what I was
don't
gonna-
confuse it.
Wow, that would be confusing.
Okay, because I had a feeling, isn't that Adam's 11 types of tangibles?
Sure.
So I went and got you the 11. They are simple. They are not a big deal.
Is
They
it,
are here. And
uh,
and this author, which is Geshe Tuturinchen's teacher, Kachin Supa,
oh, cool.
who's already passed away,
Mhm.
he quotes Abhidharma Kosha, the Kosha, the Kosha, okay, and he says it's the 5 outer objects of the senses,
Mm-hmm.
Sukta Tiro Rekja,
Mm-hmm. Formed.
Sukta Tiro Rekja,
Yeah.
okay, And it's the 5 sense organs:
Mm-hmm.
eye, ear, nose, tongue, and body,
Oh, and
skin.
mhm.
And number of chimayabisi,
Non-communicating karma.
non-communicating form.
Form. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Physicality, which does not communicate
Uh-huh.
at that moment the intention of the person who has it. So, this is an Abhidharma idea, right? Give me an example of number the chepesuk, which does communicate the intention.
The vowels.
Someone
Yeah.
taking a vow.
Yeah,
who's
when you're
kneeling.
down, genuflecting, and your hands are in vow form,
Uh-huh.
it indicates that you have some kind of virtuous state of mind. It's an outward indication of an inward state of mind. It communicates to the observer something about the person.
Would offering the mandala be the same too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now there's an assumption, right?
That you're
That you're not thinking about lunch. Okay. Or you're not angry at somebody and you're like... I mean, there's an assumption that you are...
It's a mean way to offer the mandala.
that there's some kind of Kyui Kunlong or Deduki Kunlong, which is virtuous. But it's possible to do a whole mandala offering without thinking about it once, right? All right.
yeah.
The apana mandala.
Okay, so why? I mean, it'd be an interesting question of why he chose the form that doesn't communicate your intention and
Yeah.
left out the form that does communicate your intention, unless that's considered one of the 5.
But which of the 5? I guess it'd be an object of the sense consciousness.
Well,
Visible.
yeah. Well, it could be when you hear them chanting.
Yeah.
You assume they have a virtuous state of mind. They're chanting the Heart Sutra. They must be thinking about emptiness.
That would be one
So
of the.
maybe it's the case that the number of Chebesuk is already been mentioned in
Yeah.
the 5.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe.
Makes
Anyway,
a lot of
now
sense.
you have the 11, and that's the last time we're going to understand anything.
Okay.
Okay. So here we go. So those 4 and those 11. Now the Shepa is clear because before it he says Dole,
So, right, this is from Sutra.
which were mentioned in Sutra by Lord Buddha. So the first line we nailed it.
All right.
The great elements, etc., meaning their products, which were taught, okay, by Lord Buddha in the sutras, according to Gyaltsab-je. Shepa ni Marikpe Rangshinki number Shepa Tene number Shavit Sammato Yupasha Minupe here's how I take it, okay? And I take it, Depa means when you Depa means, I saw this science fiction movie yesterday, and, then there was these robots with one eye here, and it was like, and they would Depa, they had machine sounds going, so Depa means to direct your attention in something, okay? So when you would direct your awareness at something, but he modifies the awareness. He says, messed up. Messed up state of awareness.
Okay.
Okay? Which is basically misunderstanding things.
Okay.
So assumed that we're talking about a state of mind which is messed up in some way, mistaken in some way. Okay.
Is this natural ignorance or ignorance?
No,
of
it just
the
means
stone of nature?
its nature is to misunderstand.
Okay. All right.
So a consciousness, an awareness, whose nature is to misunderstand things. Okay.
When it focuses on.
When it looks at, I take it to be these
Okay.
15 products or causes,
Okay.
physicality things, physical things.
16 or 15. Yeah.
15. When it looks at them, when you direct the mind at them and the mind's messed up,
Right.
okay, they appear to the mind. Number
Right.
shar means they make their appearance to the mind.
Only appearance.
Sanmato means nothing more than that. That's all that there is.
Uh-huh.
Mato means except for that.
Right.
except for just that, you cannot
Establish that they exist.
establish that they exist.
Uh-huh.
What?
Those 15 things.
Yeah. Forms, outer forms,
Uh-huh.
the colors and shapes of things.
Mhm.
You cannot establish. They are just figments of the imagination of a messed up mind.
Mhm.
Okay, this is kind of a mind-only
Mhm.
idea. You
Right.
know, you are actually watching seeds open in your mind, and you're not even aware that there are seeds.
Mhm.
Okay.
Totally.
Therefore, we could include all of these 15 into consciousness itself.
Very much.
They are
so.
nothing more than figments of the
Whoa.
consciousness. So you could just say they're all consciousness, and this might be the mind-only school.
Mhm. And how does this relate to subject and object state of mind? That's what I'm.
Working on it.
Yeah, okay, we're just not there yet.
I believe,
He's just blended.
which we
subject and
didn't get
object.
to yet,
Mhm.
sooner or later,
Mhm.
he's gonna say, well,
He's just saying
already what we have is a sunnam.
Assume.
or a zinnam, right? He's saying they're all consciousness.
Well,
He's saying
No,
let's
but
just
those, what he's kind of saying, all the colors and shapes you ever see are just a sunnam. They're just an aspect of your own mind. Okay.
Wouldn't okay? Yeah, they're just
They're an object aspect.
okay.
He was saying, okay, if you're not going to let me say there's no subject aspect, then I say there's no object aspect during the direct perception entity.
right.
And we're saying, come on, he has a whole verse about object aspects.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
later on. He cannot believe that there's no object
Object
aspect, because all the physical things you ever experience are nothing but object aspect.
Yeah.
I think he's going there.
Yeah. It makes sense.
Okay, well, it makes sense, but okay. Now, numbership at the shipping the units and membership on. Now, if that here's how I take it, and I might change the English here. Numbership at the if that state of consciousness, which is by nature misunderstanding, if suddenly it figured out, okay, Shipa, that I take it to be those
The elements.
Okay. Although I didn't say it that way here, so don't pay much attention to this.
Okay.
If it were to understand that those didn't start
From any nature of their own.
on their own, didn't start on their own, those appearances
15.
of objects, if it ever figured it out, then it would lose Tao,
Connection.
the Shimba,
Grasp.
the attachment to that, to them existing really, okay, to those elements, etc., existing really.
Okay.
If the mind ever cleaned up, then it would lose its belief, Shimba, belief, irrational belief,
Yeah.
okay, that the elements are real.
So it sounds like.
Well, look, we got 2 lines now. We're really wailing. Oh, three lines. Okay.
Yeah.
Elements that were explained in the sutra
Yeah.
actually are part of the mind. If you understand that,
Yeah.
then you freed from
Your stupid views.
yeah.
So he's making a case for why it's actually useful to have a to posit a subject and object state of mind in the direct perception of emptiness, or why that would be.
Well,
why
what,
you
this
say
is
that
a
you would need those
discussion
two
of what's
things.
the true nature of object aspects.
Yeah.
Okay.
But isn't
They exist in your mind. I think it sounds a lot like a mind-only school.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
which we're going to get to in words text.
But isn't Nagarjuna? Isn't the reason he's saying if you were to be able to stop the way that you're
if you could stop misunderstanding
Stop
them,
the way that
if
mind
you
is-
stop thinking they're outer things
yeah
and understand they are just
appearance of the mind.
you could say luminous images coming out of your seeds.
Uh-huh.
Okay, then
Then
you then you would lose this wrong belief, Shemba. You would stop thinking of them as real.
Okay.
In the sense of existing out there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If your mind ever got more pure, you would see that these are just images coming out of your seeds, and you would stop Shemba.
Mm-hmm.
You would stop this strong belief that they exist out there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So far we're okay, right?
Yeah, we got to stop in 5 minutes for our picture.
Man.
I know. We're almost got up to where we were last time.
Yeah, but we're closer to understanding.
Yeah, way closer. Yeah. This is great. We are caught up.
Okay.
So in that case, wouldn't you have understood that they were wrong?
In that
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
case.
meaning
Okay.
this is just in a positive.
Okay.
See, pay attention to the underline.
Okay.
You see, in that case, wouldn't you have grasped? Wouldn't you have decided that they are wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
That they are wrong.
yeah, those shimbas
Okay.
or those beliefs about form.
The
Okay.
lokes.
And then he explains the sarcasm. Of course you would have. Okay.
It's a yin bar tao.
See, mayin nam means yin bar tao.
Mm-hmm.
You must have by then.
Yeah.
You would have by then. Then this helps because he says, to summarize the point of this verse,
Mm-hmm.
the great elements and their products have no nature because they start through dependence
Right. Mm-hmm.
on seeds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they start through dependence. Chipo means that's what this verse is saying.
Mm-hmm.
That's a quotation mark.
Mm-hmm.
So he says, I'll summarize it for you. Here's what it's saying. Chipo means here's what it's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Here's what it's saying. Now, I would like to go to the next line and stop there.
Okay.
Of his
And then there's
commentary on
more
verse
here that might be relevant.
Okay.
But this part is really relevant. Number Sharwa Mato, but for their appearing to the mind, Chidun Yupar Shak Minute. You could never posit
Uh-huh.
Right.
that outer objects exist.
Uh-huh.
If it weren't.
So that's more clear now.
Yeah.
There is a sunnam.
Uh-huh.
There is an object aspect appearing to the mind.
Yeah.
But
Other than.
other than that,
Yeah.
they don't exist.
Yeah. This
So
way-
it's getting more and more mind
Mind
only.
only,
Sounds
yeah.
like he's describing the mind only.
Uh-huh.
And in that case, coffee cups which exist outside of you have the existential validity of a Moshankipu.
Uh-huh. Right. That's what he says of a woman, of the baby of a barren woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just some kind of impossibility.
Right.
Cause and result.
There are many impossibilities.
Yeah.
You could say what? A sky flower, a rabbit's antlers.
Yeah.
It's just one of those synonyms for
Typical sin.
something that never did exist, never could exist, never will exist. Okay?
Yep.
Mhm.
So apparently what he's saying is there's a synonym, but there's no outer object. Chitan.
Uh-huh.
Okay?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But that appearance of it to the mind, Nama Sharva Matok,
Uh-huh.
nobody said that didn't exist. Okay?
Mhm.
So don't accuse Nagarjuna of saying there's no sunnam.
There's no object.
There's no object factor.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I already proved to you got to have a zinnam.
Yeah.
During the direct perception of emptiness, you got to have some state of mind, some perceptual state of mind.
Yeah.
Then we kind of got through that, and then he says, well, then there's no sunnam.
Uh-huh.
Then there's no object aspect. And then we just disproved that.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not only that, but he also said that by seeing the object
You will
aspect,
eliminate
you
that.
would free yourself.
Yeah,
which
that's
is really
true.
key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you say there's no object aspect, then how is it that by understanding it you could free yourself?
And how would just stopping the appearance of objects help you when what's going to help you is seeing that those appearances are merely appearances.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I think that's true.
Yeah, don't tell me the guy we don't need them because they are why you get free.
Right. That's what I was trying to say before. He's kind of trying to make that case. Anyway. We should go down for the picture so that everybody's happy.
Hang on, I just want to.
Good idea to drink coffee in between those two sessions.
Well, look, I want to just draw your attention.
Okay.
We didn't finish the sentence in which he referred to the later verse.
Okay.
We didn't finish the sentence in which he referred to the later verse.
Wow. Okay.
In that verse, which comes later,
Yeah.
at that point in our text,
Uh-huh.
the possession
Yeah.
of an aspect relating to the object is kelang,
Accepted.
is accepted.
Yeah.
And so what I want you to think about,
Yeah.
sarcasm,
Yeah.
is that when an object enters the mind, is there any transfer? Does the mind change in any way?
Right.
And is there anything that causes it to change in any way?
Right. Like, come on,
And
it's a subject.
is there any kind of aspect of having changed in any way? Is there something changed? Is there something changing it? And is there a change when an object passes through the mind? Does the mind change?
I understand.
When the object aspect moves to the mind and is constantly what do you call it?
Transmitting?
Moving.
Modifying,
Fluctuating.
then doesn't the mind also fluctuate? Isn't the holder, the holding, and the held, doesn't fluctuations in one create a fluctuation in the other?
Yeah.
Think about it.
And he's yeah.
Why are we asking
Think
that?
about it.
Because he wants the
Because
guy
during
to.
the direct perception of emptiness, something has to be going on.
Yeah. And he wants the guy to accept that there is both. There are, in fact, both
He's talking
subjects
about
and
the three
objects.
spheres.
Yeah.
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 How can you have three spheres if there's no object, or
Yeah.
there's no subject,
Yeah.
or there's no interaction?
Yeah.
And he's getting to talking about a summum of emptiness,
And
right?
that defines the subject.
Well, yeah.
I think so.
So anyway, what he's saying is
Yeah, it's
now
really
he's
cool.
talking about gyur,
Good.
meaning fluctuation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How can there be these three spheres
Yeah.
without a subject, an object, and an
Interaction.
between?
Yeah.
Okay. Then that's how he interprets that verse coming later.
I see. It's cool.
Okay.
Wow,
Yeah.
dude.
Thanks.
Your book's hard.
Thank you,
Good
Geshe-la.
luck. Your book is hard.
It is.
The comfort is that nobody else could ever figure it out.
To tell us we're wrong.
Sashi Bugi Jukshin Meto Tram Rira Lingshin Yinde Gen Padi Sangye Shingdu Mikte Uwargi Jokun Namdak Shingla Drupar Shok Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kam Niryatayami Gawadi Gewokun Sunam Yeshe Sok Sok Shing Sunam Yeshe Le Jungwe Tabar Kunyi Tobar Shok